Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Thanks for stopping by my channel. I was thinking about notebooks today, and I wanted to share some of my favorite notebooks for different purposes. Most of these will be for journaling. I have a couple that are not, that I'm going to share. So first up is my bullet journal. And if you watched my other video where I went from an A5 to B6, B5, I was looking at what leather cover I wanted, and here's what I settled on. I got the purple Pueblo leather with a kind of teal metallic-y tab and a silver string. So that's what I decided on. I know you've all been waiting to know, right? Anyway, so my bullet journal, I always use a Leuchtturm notebook, dotted. This has been my tried and true notebook for bullet journaling for, gosh, what? I've been bullet journaling about 10, 11 years. So I love this paper for bullet journaling. I find that it holds fountain pen ink, it holds watercolor, it holds marker. I always have a pen test page at the back. And so what I thought I would do in this video is for each notebook, I would just do a quick little squiggle writing sample with a couple of my heavy inks or heavy writers. This is my TWSBI, it's a stub, and it puts down quite a bit of ink. I have Pilot Iroshizuku. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, which is surprising because I talk about this ink all the time, but there we go. And then this is a Carolina Pen Co. pen, and I think it's a medium nib, and I have Frankenstein, Waringal Frankenstein in this, which is a pretty rich ink. So we'll see when I look at the back of that, very little ghosting. So this paper really serves me well for my bullet journaling. Next up, I'm going to just share a few different ones from a brand that, if I'm saying it correctly, and I think this is how I've heard other people say it, is Nemosine. I really like this paper. I have it in a few different sizes. So there's a bigger notebook. There's an A5. Here's an A5 that is landscape, and this is grid. This is dotted. This is small grid, if that's coming up on camera. And then this little pocket size is also small grid. So I don't have a pen test page set up in here yet, but we'll just go ahead and do it. I always pick the last page or couple pages to do my pen test. So I'll just... I use these Nemosine notebooks just kind of as all-purpose note-taking. We've got like absolutely no ghosting. Love that about these notebooks. This is perforated here in the back, which a lot of notebooks do. Like the Leuchtturm will do perforated in the last maybe like 30 pages or something. This looks like it's perforated throughout the whole notebook. And I just love to have the different sizes here because, you know, just find different purposes for the different sizes. And these are great writing notebooks. Like, what I mean by writing notebook is when I take a class on writing or setting or theme or something like that, I always like to have a really good notebook that I can just take mad notes in. And I have a couple of these filled up with those kind of notes. The next notebook is a Rhodia, it's stitched spine, and I think it has like 80 some odd pages. I have an entire drawer filled with these. It's got kind of this really nice texture of a cover, and they've got some real fun colors. Last I checked, anytime that I go to do an order and I see that the store will have these, I grab a couple because I think I heard that Rhodia wasn't making them anymore, and I really like these. Dotted and very similar to the Leuchtturm paper. I use these for classes. I use these for school. My school bullet journal is always one of these because it's thinner, and I typically will fill up just one of these for meetings and notes, etc., for school stuff. And this is nice and sturdy, tiny bit of ghosting there. Honestly, ghosting in paper does not bother me at all. I actually kind of like it because I feel like then my notebook is lived in and it's used. So this one, I took all these different notes from when I took a class on brain stuff. The next notebook I'm going to share is a Colorverse Nebula notebook, and it has these cute little stars. They've got a few different colors. I have this one, and then there was an olive cover, which of course I had to have, and then a oh, was it dark blue? I think it may have been dark blue. Anyway, this is dotted paper. It's perforated, and it is not as smooth as the Leuchtturm and Rhodia and Nemesine paper. It's feels a little bit toothier, which is fine. I don't mind that. Here's a pen test page that I've already started. We'll do these two pens and see how they look. Okay. So minimal ghosting that I can see here. I don't know, it doesn't even look like it's showing up on camera, but even if it is, it's so minimal, but you can feel it's a little bit crisper of a paper and a little bit less smooth. It doesn't have the, it says 90 grams. I'm not getting technical with all the paper, you guys, because it's just not my thing. I go by feel, I go by just what I'm using it for, what I like it for, and sometimes I know the specs on the paper and other times I don't, and I'm okay with that. The next paper, sorry, some big truck just drove right down my road and my window's open. Anyway, so this is a Hobonichi, and it is a grid. It has different colors. If you can tell, like that's a brown, then it transitions to a blue, and then transitions to a red. I used this for a little while when I was recording what pens I was taking to school every week. And then I just kind of decided that was a lot of work to keep track of. And so I kind of jumped ship, and I will just use this for note-taking or doodling. I really am liking the smaller size notebooks recently. And so I'm gravitating towards that. Like I went from, my size down on my bullet journal. And I tend to carry a lot of A6 notebooks or passport sizes or field notes. It's just kind of the season of notebook that I am in right now, I guess. And Hobonichi paper, I think is just great. They use Tomoe River paper, but I know that there were some changes, and now it's like Tomoe River was bought out by Sanzen or something like, again, a little more technical than I get with that. So a little bit of ghosting there, and you can see where I had written pen test, and this was with a real heavy pen, heavy writer, and a real shimmer ink kind of bled through there. But it doesn't bother me, and I'll show you just another Tomoe River notebook. This is my, just when I'm just kind of playing around with different color families and inks. And I mean, that's a pretty good thickness there, that it doesn't bleed through all that much. Sometimes with the swatches it does, you can see there, and I just don't write on that side. But I have just found that the Hobonichi paper really stands up. So I do love that paper. Okay, next up that I'm going to share, this is my pen and ink journal, and I, for that and many other things, use these little logical swing notebooks that I get from a store called Daiso. And if you are a local person, the store we have that I go to is in Hazeldale, and you know what that means if you're local. But you guys, these are like $1.25. I have just a huge stack of them. I love these notebooks. The paper is so nice to write on. It's lined with the little dots in there, and I'm not generally a lined paper gal, but something about just the lines with the dots and the way it's spaced, I'm really happy with that. Now, I keep all of my notes from when we go to pen shows, or when I get a new pen or ink, etc. And as you can see, it does ghost quite a bit, and it's not the best with heavy inks, but it doesn't bother me for this purpose, right? If I was, I don't know, caring more about what goes into this, maybe I'd be like, oh, that really does kind of ghost quite a bit. But for this purpose and this notebook, it just doesn't bother me. But I love these. So if you have a Daiso, it's Daiso. If you have a Daiso nearby, go check them out. They have great notebooks, and I'll show you another size that I use of their notebooks. It's not the logical swing notebook, but it's this premium notebook, and I have these in a B6. These are dotted, and I really, really, really like this paper. I can do a quick writing sample. This 2 notebook setup I have here is like my brain dump of icky stuff, so I won't flip through, obviously, but I keep this specifically in my office, away from like my bed. Oh, I guess that kind of I must have torn out a page or something because it came undone, but not a big deal. But I'll show you just really quick. My fountain pens love this paper, and for being as cheap as they are, so while this one's like $1.25, I think this size is like maybe $1.50. I mean, it's just unreal. Very little ghosting, doesn't bleed through. So this is, that's a really good notebook, and it's just incredibly cheap, so you just can't get any cheaper than that, right? Then the last one that I use for journaling is this little guy. This is my commonplace notebook that I've just started in the last few months. I absolutely love this setup. I'm so happy with it. And this notebook is a little, I don't even know the name of it. It's on Amazon, and it was very reasonably priced. It's dotted. It kind of like, the Colorverse Nebula. The paper is a little thicker, a little crinklier. You can see it does have some ghosting there. But for my commonplace notebook, where I am just taking notes and writing down things, out of books that I'm reading, I actually really like the ghosting, because I just look at this and I go, yes, I am using this notebook, and it's just satisfying, and it just makes me happy. So I don't mind that it kind of shows through a little bit. I just think it's a great little setup. And then the last notebook, well, no, it's really more stationery that I had to include in this just to show off because it is so beautiful. These are little Midori stationery packs, and I've got a few of them here. I will tell you that I don't love fountain pens on these, so I'm not even going to do a fountain pen writing sample because this is more stationery. It's definitely toothier, but I wanted to just show off the artwork because these notebooks are so beautiful. So this is just kind of this thin size. This is the kind of paper that you get and you're like afraid to use it. So what I've done, I've written, you know, letters on here to my pen pal. I have actually taken my tiny little scissors and cut the flowers out and pasted them in my notebooks. But I just, they're so exquisite and just beautiful. I love this for fall. I just think this is such a beautiful bit of stationery here. And it is, or does, come with this little lined guide. So if you were wanting to write a letter, you could use that as a guide since it's blank. I don't know if you're like me, I start writing and my writing just goes like off the charts. And then this is sunflowers. Again, I just absolutely love this artwork. It's so pretty. And it's got like that foil, just so pretty. And then here's another one that I got that I think is just great for fall. And then this one I just got last week. I love dahlias, and I saw this pop up in an order that I was doing on Van Ness, and I just threw it in my cart because I just love paper and I love these dahlias. This artwork is just so beautiful. I'm not sure which this one might be my favorite. But anyway, so there are a handful of notebooks for journaling and otherwise for you to consider. I can put some links down in the description. I just really, like I said, I was thinking about notebooks today, which might be the dorkiest thing that I've said all day, but you know, people in our community understand and are probably thinking about notebooks on a daily basis as well. But whenever I tell my students, hey, I'm going to go to a pen show, they're like, what? And I'm like, yes, that is the dorkiest thing that you are going to hear today. But anyway, so I hope that you might consider trying one of these out. Or if you're curious about, like, just even that it's not dotted, it's something else, you'll take a peek, see if you like it. Obviously, there are so many choices out there for notebooks. These are just a few of my often go-tos and my favorites for what I use notebooks for. I'd love to hear if you have any other brands or styles that you really like, or if you try any of these out. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video.